There is a moment when you realize the machine you built, the one you thought was powered by ambition and good business, is actually fueled by negligence and, worse, human lives. You find out your success isn't just tainted, it's covered in blood. That was my truth at 3 a.m. in the back kitchen of my own flagship restaurant. I'm Marcus Sterling, CEO of Sterling Smokehouse, a man who built a $1.3 billion empire on hickory smoke and quality brisket. I had everything, but I didn't have the one thing that mattered: honest eyes on the ground. I came here, to store number 3 in Dallas, Texas, because of an anonymous email, a desperate plea from an employee saying no one was listening about critical safety issues. I went undercover as a dishwasher, Mark Hayes, thinking I'd find simple neglect. What I found was a death covered up and a systemic criminal conspiracy run by one of my own regional managers. The parking lot was silent, empty save for my car and a beaten-up sedan belonging to the only person inside, Carmen Lewis. Through the window, I saw her, late 20s, intense focus, working a shift meant for 3 people. She didn't work the industrial smoker with confidence. She worked it with a practiced fear, keeping her body at an angle, always watching the pressure gauge jump into the red zone. I saw the fire extinguisher within arm's reach, the buckets of water, the wet towels, improvised safety gear because corporate had failed her. I knocked and entered the kitchen under the pretense of being an inspector. The heat, the smell of hickory, and underneath it, a faint, metallic tang, gas. The equipment was clean, but decrepit, held together by duct tape and sheer will. Inspector Harper was here 3 weeks ago, Carmen told me, her voice flat with exhaustion. 20 minutes, maybe. Never see them at night. I checked the fire extinguisher inspection tag, dated 3 weeks ago. Untouched dust came away on my fingers. A lie. You set up all this yourself? I asked, gesturing to her makeshift safety station. She just looked at me. Todd says it's being resourceful. I call it staying alive. Todd Brennan, my regional manager. I asked about maintenance requests. Carmen walked to her locker and pulled out a thick, stained notebook. 11 times in 4 months. I flipped through it, my jaw tightening with each page. Gas leak repair denied. Smoker seal replacement denied. CO detector installation denied. Across every urgent request, the same stamp in red ink, denied. Defer to next quarter. All signed by Todd. And right there, on November 18th, her note: smoker backfired again. Request you come see this in person before someone gets hurt. Todd's reply: unauthorized shutdown of equipment may result in disciplinary action. Not just denial, a threat. Why do you keep working with this? I asked, gesturing at the demonic smoker. Because someone has to, and I need this job, she replied, her voice empty of complaint, but heavy with resignation. But I'm not stupid. I document everything. If something happens to me, there's a record. The smoker made a violent bang, flame shot out 4 feet, and black smoke poured out. Carmen moved instantly, killing the gas feed, grabbing the extinguisher. It took 10 minutes for the air to clear. That was the moment I blew my cover. I realized this woman had been trying to save her own life for months, and I, the CEO, had been the 51st person to ignore her plea. I need to ask you something and I need you to trust me, I said. Can you show me where you keep your copies? The real ones. She knew. She looked me in the eye, walked to her locker, and pulled out her private file, photos, text message screenshots, and a copy of the EMT report from 2 months ago. Then her voice dropped to a whisper, the raw truth finally surfacing. This isn't the first time equipment failed here, she said. 14 months ago, a pitmaster named Jamal died. CO poisoning from that smoker. The report said accidental death, employee error. But I saw the real report before it disappeared. It said preventable death due to equipment failure. Someone had already died, they covered it up, and they forced Carmen to work the exact same shift with the exact same deadly equipment. I felt sick. Not just fraud, but criminal conspiracy, manslaughter, and putting another person in the same grave. I knew what I had to do. I couldn't wait for legal channels. I had to go deeper, right now. I told Carmen the truth about who I was and asked for one more night. At 2 a.m., while Carmen and the night dishwasher, Darius, were busy, I broke into Todd's office. The standard lock was easy, the padlock was harder, but I got it. Inside the archive drawer, I found the smoking gun, 2 sets of inspection reports. Set A, the genuine OSHA report, dated 6 months ago. Fail, critical violations. Immediate closure recommended. And Set B, the forged document, passed. Approved for continued operation. Todd had locked away the truth to keep the store open. I also found emails linking Todd to his regional superior, Kevin Bennett, discussing the $2.4 million property redevelopment opportunity for the land. They were deliberately running the store into the ground to force a profitable sale. I shoved the documents back, but just as I clicked the padlock shut, Todd Brennan walked in. My mind went blank. Looking for the bathroom, man. This place is a maze, I stammered, covering the filing cabinet. Todd was instantly suspicious, his eyes fixed on the lock. But just as he moved to check it, the back door slammed. Carmen yelled from the kitchen, "Todd, smoker's leaking gas. Can you smell it?" She created the perfect diversion. Todd snapped his head up and ran into the kitchen. I slipped out of the office, meeting Carmen's eyes. She was breathing hard, but her face was alight with focused determination. We were partners now. I drove straight to my CFO, Rachel Miller, handing her the photographic evidence. "Todd's forging OSHA inspections," I said. "Kevin Bennett knows. They're trying to force a closure and sell the land. And they killed Jamal Thompson to do it." Rachel's face drained white. "Ben, this is criminal. You need to call the police." "No," I replied. "If I call the police, they destroy the evidence. I'm going back in. I need an emergency board meeting called for 8 a.m. I want everyone at store number 3 to see this. And I need Jamal Thompson's widow, Patricia, there." The next morning, the board members sat awkwardly in the conference room, facing not only Rachel and me, back in a suit, my dishwasher alias burned, but also Patricia Martinez, Jamal's widow. I didn't lead with numbers. I led with the truth. I looked at Patricia and said, "Mrs. Martinez, your husband died because we failed to maintain equipment. Because Todd Brennan denied 11 safety requests and forged OSHA inspections. Your husband's death was preventable, and then we covered it up." Patricia stood up, tears streaming. "You're telling me Tommy was murdered?" "I'm telling you the company I own killed him through criminal negligence and then lied about it," I confirmed. "And I want you to witness what happens next." I went to store number 3. Todd Brennan arrived, saw me in a suit, saw the projector screen, and his face went from pale to ash. I clicked the remote. Carmen's 11 denied requests filled the wall. I clicked again. The forged inspection reports, side by side with the real closure order, appeared. "Todd," I said, my voice ice, "you are looking at criminal fraud, forgery of government documents, and reckless endangerment." Then came the audio. Todd Brennan and Kevin Bennett discussing the $2.4 million property sale split and the need to keep the workers quiet. The staff, gathered for the mandatory meeting, gasped. They looked at Todd, the man who called them lazy, seeing him exposed as a calculating criminal. Carmen stepped forward, her voice strong now, steady. "I want everyone to know something," she stated. I didn't stay silent. I documented everything. I sent 52 emails to company leadership. 51 people ignored me. The system failed because you corrupted it, Todd. And I'm done being quiet. The staff, including Darius and Leo, erupted in applause. Todd tried one last pathetic deflection. "You can't fire me without cause." "You're right," I replied. "I'm not firing you for wrongful termination. I'm firing you for criminal fraud and conspiracy to commit manslaughter." I put the phone on speaker, dialed the district office, and informed Kevin Bennett that he and Todd were suspended, effective immediately, pending criminal charges. Security arrived and escorted Todd Brennan out, forever. As he passed Carmen, he spat, "You just cost yourself a job." Carmen looked him in the eye. "No. I just saved lives. There's a difference." I gathered the staff. No one is losing their job. We are shutting down immediately for emergency repairs. You'll be paid throughout the investigation. Carmen built this case. She's the reason we are fixing this. The real change began that afternoon. I brought Carmen and the workers to the emergency board meeting. When a board member questioned the expense, I pointed out that we could have spent $128,000 on repairs and prevented a death, but instead, we'd spend millions on legal fees because we prioritized profit over people. Carmen stood at the whiteboard and designed the new system. No manager can deny a safety request. Ever. If it's unsafe, it's fixed or shut down. No exceptions. I implemented